These surface waters are within the Salton Sea watershed, which is a trans-boundary watershed that includes the Coachella and Imperial Valley of the United States and a portion of the Mexicali Valley in Mexico. The New River originates about 15 miles south of the city of Mexicali and in the Mexicali Valley, which is in the Mexicali Valley here in Mexico. It enters the United States at Calexico and travels through the Imperial Valley farmlands to the Salton Sea. And I'm not sure if you had a chance to take a look at the map, but there is a map that I saw, and I don't know if you have it in your packet, but bottom line, the New River actually flows through many of the communities in Imperial County. Starting off first with Calexico, eventually close to El Centro, Seedy, Imperial, Brawley, Westmoreland, eventually ended up in the Salton Sea area. Since the 1940s, the New River has been recognized as a significant pollution problem, primarily because of extremely high concentrations of fecal coliform bacteria. The waterway contains pathogens that cause tuberculosis, encephalitis, polio, cholera, hepatitis, and typhoid. Levels for many of these contaminants are in violation of U.S. EPA, Cal EPA, and Mexican standards by several hundredfold. Currently, the New River carries urban runoff, untreated and partially treated municipal wastes, and agricultural runoff from the Mexicali Valley into the United States. The pollution of the New River has also resulted in significant socio-economic impacts. Although the impacts of the New River can be seen throughout the city of Calexico, it is the west side of Calexico that has suffered the most from direct exposure to the river, resulting in adjacent properties being undeveloped and economic growth in the area becoming stagnant. Attracting jobs to the region will be impossible if we do not address this problem. And quite frankly, as I've talked to folks over the course of time, especially the local policymakers and those that represent the county, this is a major concern for them, especially in these times, the economic development opportunities that could be created if we so choose to clean up this river. Additionally, scores of immigrants are also exposed as they use the river to enter the United States. Immigrants often evade the Border Patrol because agents will not risk their health by entering the water to detain them. Those who succeed in crossing will rarely receive adequate medical attention or screening, and they will often find jobs in the agricultural or food service industries, carrying New River diseases to their various destinations in California and across the United States. The pollution problem is expected to worsen if Mexicali's population of about 1.3 million residents continues to expand without adequate infrastructure. Now, I grew up in both Riverside County and Imperial County. It's a long story there, but my parents, my mother immigrated with my grandmother and my uncles and aunts from Mexico many years ago, and that's where they ended up, in Calexico. So I spent many of my summers and weekends playing with my friends and hanging out with my grandmother and aunts and uncles in Calexico while my parents worked in the fields. And quite frankly, the issue of the New River was an issue back then when I was a kid. You know, hearing about the New River from my grandmother, right, or from my aunts and uncles, or from friends, as we're walking around or hanging out with families. And then now, as a legislator, 30 years later, 25 years later, we're still in the same situation, maybe even worse. And so this definitely is a major concern for me, a priority of mine, and for many of our residents in Imperial County. But I want you to know that this is not only a local issue. This is a state issue, and a national issue, and quite frankly, even an international issue that should be addressed. Despite decades of resolutions, studies, and promises, the city of Calexico and Imperial County have not received the sustained leadership and financial support from state government needed to solve this problem. However, I will say this, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that Senator Denise Pichetti has done some good work when it comes to the New River. AB 387, which specifically authorizes a stream encasement project of the New River, and AB 2317, which established the California Border Environmental and Public Health Protection Fund, which would support California and Baja California border region with issues pertaining to public and environmental health through technical assistance and resources. So we've had some champions at the state level. Quite frankly, our senator has done some good work. But more recently, while with federal transportation dollars, we're talking about $4 million from the Safe, Accountable, Flexible, Efficient Transportation Equity Act, and the water quality dollars in the amount of $10 million. These were both secured by Congressman Filner for the rivers cleanup. And so it's also important to recognize our Congressman, Mr. Filner's work as well in this effort. Now, the required state or local match has stalled the progress of the rivers cleanup. And so our senator has done some good work, our congressman has done some good work, and now what I'm trying to do is just complement what they've done already. And the hope is obviously that we do the job of cleaning up this New River. Today, the New River remains an environmental hazard and public health threat to the region, affecting air and water quality and the quality of life for the residents of Imperial County. Now, a committee was created years ago. Frustrated by the lack of progress, the New River Committee, that Calexico New River Committee, came together to clean up this river. Now, the leadership came together back in 2001, and I'm not sure if there's anyone here from the New River Committee, but I just want to commend you for your work, especially those of you that have been in this struggle for many, many years. And Miguel Figueroa, who's the executive director, I just want to make sure I acknowledge and recognize his leadership in this effort.
Assemblyman Perez, they've actually expanded now to be more environmental and for the whole region, not just the New River.
Okay, well, that's good to hear. But I just want to mention, though, the fact that this committee has done great work around the issue of the New River. And as a matter of fact, that's how this committee even came together in the first place. The matter is before you today due in great part to the leadership of the Calexico New River Committee. And they are the official sponsor of the New River Public Health Protection Project, as well as AB 1079. AB 1079 is a comprehensive program to clean up America's most polluted rivers. Specifically, AB 1079 directs the California Environmental Protection Agency to work with other key state agencies, such as the State Water Resources Control Board, to implement the New River Public Health Improvement Project. This project is an evolving, multifaceted effort designed to address sewage treatment needs, prevent pollution, reduce public health threats, and meet environmental restoration objectives. The New River Project would be administered as part of Cal EPA's existing California, Baja California Border Environmental Program, and it would require Cal EPA to set water quality objectives, prevent illegal discharges from entering California, and secure necessary funds to implement the project. Now, our office believes that through Proposition 84, which was approved by voters in 2006 for water quality, safety, and supply, flood control, natural resources protection, and park improvement could be an appropriate funding source for AB 1079. Specifically, we believe that watershed dollars described in Chapter 5 talks about protection of rivers, lakes, and streams, can be used to help draw down the $4 million from the federal transportation dollars that Congressman Bob Filner had worked on. Accordingly, it is my intent to utilize this measure to help secure at least a 20% match from state and local funds. Among the resources for a potential state-local match are water quality and watershed funding from Proposition 84 and Proposition 50, pollution abatement funds, as well as pollution abatement funds, funding from the California Tire Fund, and funding from the CRB Fund, among others. Today, the bill is pending a hearing by the Assembly of Environmental Safety and Toxic Materials, which is scheduled for April 28, 2009 in Sacramento. In closing, I want to take a moment again to thank you for your time and for the opportunity to address you. And as you know, the challenges facing the New River cleanup are many and daunting, but not impossible to overcome. I want to underscore that the cleanup of the New River is a priority and is at the top of my list. The cleanup cannot wait anymore. And quite frankly, over the course of my campaign, I was just recently elected in November. Throughout the entire region of Imperial County, there were two issues that I heard that just kept coming up. Obviously, the issue of jobs and the economy during these tough times kept coming up, but as well, the issue of the New River. I heard it so many times. If not one door that I knocked on, then maybe the next door that I knocked on as I was talking to people. And so I made this issue